Alright, my dude, I thought I would have a quick chat, namely for, I keep forgetting to tell people the reason why I'm interested in this post-death stuff. It's really because in the secret societies, I mean, besides the mastery of magic and the transmutation of consciousness from the whole lead into gold or carbon into the beautificated diamond of the dark clear light of the rainbow light body of the Tibetan books stuff. One of the obvious things that I keep forgetting to mention is that the greatest secrets of any secret society really is the mastery of the transition post-death state, so they can pick and choose their incarnations at will. I mean, that's what the whole Tibetan Book of the Dead is about. That's what the whole Emerald Tablets of Thoth is about. That's what all these strange esoteric books is really about. And some people, they have the ability for the transmigration of even memory or identity of the emanation of the soul. So I mean, that's why I'm quite interested in it, like specifically the Tibetan Book of the Dead, or I mean, these days I do call it the Tibetan Book of Cheating Death, really, because you're basically cheating Yama, or the judgment process, to pick and choose your incarnations, really. Preferably they want to come back to Tibet and become a lama to basically live an easy life and lord over their slaves, and then do enlightenment, and then just be like god kings. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, everyone's at the highest levels are into this. But, the reason why I'm into this is basically because, I want to, I should try not to want it too much. That'd be like the Vimassita Sutra, where you want to escape samsara, but you shouldn't try too hard, or else you might get trapped back. But basically, I mean, there is this thing called the a magical ethereal barrier. I mean, we've all heard of this idea of the prison planet. I mean, that's what Alex Jones talks a lot about. And that prison planet term comes from L. Ron Hubbard from Scientology. And then this term comes back from a much older term, back to the ancient builders that basically genetically modified and created humanity. I mean, you might as well just call them the angels or Elohim, whatever. I mean, they're these multi-dimensional light beings. They were the original gods. Like, I don't care if you call them, Odin. I don't care if you call it, well, it's really Woden, like, or the Asir, the Vanir clans. I don't care if you call it Ra, Isis, Thoth, Osiris, Horus. I don't care if you call it Zeus, Poseidon, Neptune, Uranus, or Diana, even though it's also partially representation of the cosmic beings, which would be the ethereal luminaries that as planets and other things, which they manifest on the ordered plane of the materiality of Earth or Malkuth. I don't care what you call it, or these things or these incarnations, even the incarnations of like Buddha, Jesus, Quetzalcoatl, Moses, Baal, Apollo, Dionysus, Horus, obviously, or Hypatia, or Pythagoras, or even Pythagoras' previous incarnation, which is a female. I mean, these things incarnated onto this material plane for the quote-unquote experience of cosmic evolution of the soul on the game of Dharma Earth plane, because this is the era where you power level your soul to reach enlightenment. I mean, you actually can reach quote-unquote enlightenment in just one go around. In the game of Dharma, I mean, that's what I've pretty much done, and I just get pretty bored. But I should talk about the reason why you have to do this is so that in the post-death state, like, a lot of people try to get into heaven, not realizing that heaven is merely a faction, a God's realm within the system itself, and it's a temporary holding area. And eventually, after you get bored of heaven because you're just sitting there doing nothing, you cycle back down below the middle realm anyways of the human state. I mean, you watch the movie What Dreams May Come. I mean, Robin Williams and his wife said, why don't we just live life on Earth all over again and experience life all over again? Yeah, that's if you make it to heaven, you eventually come back down. The Hell's Realm is where you the Hell Realm and a Praeton Realm, the Hungry Ghost Realm, whatever, is where you purge out your addictions anyway, so it's easier to cycle back up. And then it's a natural turning wheel, like the wheel of the Bhava chakra, of the Kama Mara. I mean, I've shown it 1,000 times. It's like the picture of the devil. I'll show it in a little bit just because it is in relationship to the Tibetan Book of the Dead. But basically, I was looking at the Great Awakening chart, you know, the whole, there's the AI architect, the Deus Ex Machina, the sensor in the Milky Way galaxy, whatever. It's like a third lesser form representation of God. You would actually call it a demiurgic devil. It is the aborted manifestation of ordered mechanics in this mechanical system realm, which causes order out of chaos, really. I mean, that's basically the devil form of God. There's the supreme creator form, and then there's the whole source thing, or the unconsciousness source, which would be the monad thing. But basically, right now, we just want to look at this part right here. There actually is a more interesting. There's actually some interesting stuff here, like Maldek. What is it? The super Earth that exploded. I mean, I don't know what you call Maldek. I mean, you actually should call it Lucifer. It's the war with Mars. The war with Mars is a Gigi. Like, it's a story of the. What was it? Was it the Book of Enoch? It's like the fallen angels saw onto the daughters of men were fair and beautiful, and they took them as wives because they were the mining slaves. They were the original slaves to the Anunnaki Elohim gods, and that's what caused the war in the heavens with the gods. And then Lucifer was the bridge area in between. Like, there was actually the original Earth, which would have been the moon, and then had the war out in Lucifer, and then they created a whole asteroid belt with this whole war explosion or whatever, and then Mars basically got wiped out, and the whole great migration of Noah on a spaceship from Mars onto the other planes, and then eventually everyone just basically had to move on to Earth, which is a moon of Tiamat, and then that's where we are. I mean, that's why I mean, you know, there's a time where the whole solar system was obviously colonized by these beings. Whatever, asteroid belt. I don't know what the Glimmer Project is. What is it, 500k years ago? I mean, whatever, dude. I mean, that's more like the War in Heaven crap. But basically, I do want to talk about, what is it, the outer, God damn it, my eyes. The outer energetic barrier. Yeah, you know this as the Van Allen radiation belts. It's the barrier that transduces this lenticular effect, so it reflects the soul back down onto Earth as it passes through the natural locality of our local sun, which sits at the center above the North Pole. There's like this process, like in Soul, where you go through the defending your life state. I mean, there's a whole process. I mean, this whole thing to me is pretty mechanical, and around Earth itself, if you actually draw out Earth like a circle, it has a natural electromagnetic end-band effect, which is mentioned in the book Robert Monroe, Far Journeys, especially towards the part where it talks about the soul contract, like why you came in here. It's the story of AABB. Like, you hear the cacophony of the noise of human suffering and pleasure, and then it attracted light dimensional beings, and then these beings get incarnated into human flesh when they agree to come onto the earth plane to experience that of a human experience, because it's quite tantalizing, fascinating, desire-based, and then people get addicted to the experience of being human because of the experiences is very heightened. It's basically, I call it a Disney realm carnival clown show run by Mickey Mouse. Yeah, and then this whole ancient barrier thing, it's basically imagine this as the circus tent. It's once you go in, many people do not go out unless it's a very specific path for leaving. I'll play a little bit of my Yoda Master to talk about it. Yeah, this whole thing was placed by the ancient builder race. You know them as the Anunnaki or the angels, whatever. They came from Orion, whatever. It was like the source of all religion or secret societies, whatever. I mean, come on, man. They built all the pyramids and ancient structures and the flying Vaimanas. They had their multiple war in heaven crap. They're the ancient gods. The source of all religion and ancient architecture is from them. They're obviously very prevalent during the whole Vedic period. Okay, then you have the Guardians. That's like, I'll play a little bit about this section just because I was on a part of the Emerald Tablets and my Yoda Master was talking about it. So,
O man, to the depth of my wisdom. Speak I of knowledge hidden from man. Far have I been on my journey through space-time, even to the end of the space of this cycle.
The end of the space of the cycle, so Thoth basically traveled around in a cyclical fashion of the 6 realms of the Milky Way galaxy that controlled by the Kamamara, or if you want to think about the Matrix, which is easier, all the possible realms of the Architect or Deus Ex Machina, which is the grand organizational design, this AI system that really runs the show, if you want to call it that. Robert Monroe has actually seen the Deus Ex Machina system, surprisingly.
Found I there the Great Barrier, holding man from leaving this cycle.
The Great Barrier is the Van Allen radiation belt, and then it has the an M-band effect like the rings of Saturn. There's 3 parts of it, and it's the occupational area, like where people dream or have astral visions, or the line to get into Disney Realm or demons or shit like that. And then it's cut onto phases for the entrances and exits. Like there are 3 or 4 types of people. There's the first timers or the new timers, whatever. Their spirits having one of their first experience here, maybe under 20. There's the old timers. They're there, but they can't figure out to leave, so they wait around until they're forced to come back down here, until they get reflected back to the lenticularity of the barrier itself. In my video Liberation from Moksha, these remote viewers who were able to view the system as this mechanical Disney realm process. My video, what was it? I don't know if I can even bring it up here. I like my computer's gonna go berserk. But my video, the Liberation from Moksha video, that pretty much explains the system itself. It's basically a dark Disney realm clown show based on the expansion of power upon this system of galactic empire based on Lush extraction, and we're like the outer colonies, and then the suffering of human existence really leads to the spinning of the wheel itself and a continuation of Disney realm, as if our Lush is like the money that keeps everything going. This system works out the way it does for a certain reason. So but I'll let my Yoda Master talk a little bit about this. So it's basically saying that Thoth traveled at the outer edges of the existence of the barrier itself. Robin Monroe actually traveled and faced the barrier, and then he flipped the reverse of the side barrier and traveled into an alternate dimension in locale 3 to find his alternate Earth self. So I thought that was strange.
I glimpsed the hounds of the barrier, laying in wait for he who would pass them.
That's the hounds of the barriers, like the hounds of Tartarus or the hounds of hell, that acts as natural guardians. Because you're trying to leave the Disney realm, you're gonna face these guardian things that sits at the angularity. I've also seen these things. If you paid attention to my video, Pink Elephant and the Prisoners of Earth, or They Came from Another Dimension, Vat City's encountered these things. So has Og Talez, but he encountered the soul strip miners, like what Alina's seen. But these things are like the 4 guardian points upon the edge of Disney realm. They're like these super mechanical AI archonic things, basically Dementor beings. That's what I would describe them as. So
in that space where time exists, faintly I sense.
And we're also controlled by this area of space-time, and the only space that doesn't have the space-time loop that continues the wheel cycle is actually at the center. And then at the center, that's where these I guess you would call them Agent Smiths come from, the real Agent Smiths. They can basically teleport in and out of all parts of reality, whether it's this planet or other planets. Or you could call them the observers from the TV show Fringe. I mean, they're very key to understanding what's really going on because they're the agents or the guardians of the system. I mean, like people who've tried to travel forward in time or to another locality of another dimension in the physical plane. I mean, they encounter these things right away and then they reset back the system of how it goes, or they threaten you, or they show up in pivotal points of history and then they try to create lock points of time and to make sure that the wheel spins and that no one's trying to mess with the structural integrity of Disney realm. And a lot of what they are is this steering of humanity in its certain trajectory, like on a path of the Yuga system, like as we cycle throughout the Milky Way galaxy. But what they really are is they're basically like the end game goal of what happens when you join a secret society and you give yourself into the left brain process of pure logician and mathematics, and you've discarded your Sophic aspect, and then you basically become cyborgic in your expression as a quote-unquote physical being in the astral interim when you go upon this journey of death. I mean, that can actually happen. I mean, there's certain things that can happen, like even becoming a golden master, an archon, an aeon, your own demiurge of your own reality, of your own... I mean, you can make your own Buddhaverse if you want, and then really just escape this clown show. I mean, that's what I'll probably do, whatever. But I mean, there's a lot. I mean, isn't this too strange? Like, why am I talking about this?
The guardians of the cycles.
Yeah, the guardians right there.
Move they only through angles. Free are they not?
Yeah, they're not free.
Of the curved dimensions. Now that's
yeah, they're not free of the curved dimensions. They're stuck in angularities of geometry. Okay? And a lot of secret societies study geometry and get caught up in angles.
There's a lot to digest in there. That's...
Okay, well, look at this part of the Great Awakening. The ancient builders, I mean, the Anunnaki, the fairy beings, whatever, they're obviously light beings, 4D-dimensional beings that constructed the material plane to mine out Loosh for whatever reason. Probably they were given orders by the center of the galaxy by, I want to call it Azathoth from H.P. Lovecraft. Technologically and spiritually superior, yeah, the multi-dimensional beings like Thoth, Ra, Zeus, whatever, they're them. I mean, when you actually encounter the journey upon death, I mean, you actually do face these beings because they're your progenitors, really. They're your, technically, your ancestors or gods, whatever. I mean, in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, you encounter these beings, really, again, because they're a natural process to the system that's created as your interaction here. Like we call this like the judgment of the pearly gates of heaven, whatever. Tibetan Book of the Dead obviously talks about this, like this idea of spiritually, meaning spiritual masters, spiritual archetypes, harakas, devas, asuras, whatever, upon the journey of death, and when to recognize them and the reflections against your own personal psyche of, so you do. Basically, you just should not panic. You should ask for help from your own spiritual master, or if not, of an archetype like Jesus or Buddha. And my suggestion is don't be a selfish idiot who thinks he's all powerful and sovereign. Like, my suggestion is just, it's like the movie Defending Your Life. I mean, they said, if you have any questions, just ask for help. Why didn't you ask for help? I mean, when I go upon my journey to death, I'm going to go ask for directions. I'm going to be a little bitch, like, excuse me, Lord Haraka, do you know the way out of Disney Realm? Venerable Buddha thingy, or hello, could you point me in the direction of, yes, Lord Yama, yes, my deeds and whatever. I just try to be a chill person. Okay, fine, just get out of here. You passed the judgment. Like, just get out of here. Stop bothering me. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty mechanical process, really. I mean, I've read all the books of the dead. What is this? Fifth? What is this? Whatever it is, Ancient Builders. It's just the goddamn Anunnaki, alright? What mysterious origins? I mean, it came from goddamn Orion. Technically Sirius, then Orion. I mean, there's a whole system with Sirius and Orion, and then why the Egyptians worship certain stars. The blue avians, yeah, they're just the blue bloods. Okay, look, TLDR, I mean, this is why I'm doing this whole Book of the Dead research, is because TLDR, you basically have to become a Buddha or a saint, find the light emanation, the rainbow light body, the purification of the spirit, actualize the spirit, to liberate the spirit, so that basically you, through this Tibetan Book of the Dead, Tibetan Book of the Dead realized that we were basically in a living bardo of earth. The game of Dharma is its own test for the purification of the spirit to reach enlightenment, and then you basically escape through the realization of basic return to source, and then a return out of here away from the demiurge's insane reality. What is it? Mystery of the Universal Creator? Yeah, there's a monad, whatever. Samsara, escape samsara, escape the incarnation of the physical plane. I mean, you should try to escape, because this human incarnation is really a sensory dopamine chemical addiction suit. I mean, you are basically a crack addict, all right, for sensations and experience. Once you get rid of your desires and fascinations, and then you just get bored of Disney realm, then it's time to go home. And you go home by basically casting off your human meat suit back into your original light emanation rainbow body, whatever, to pass the Bardo test of the game of Dharma and the return to source, which is really a return to home, because you're basically leaving Mickey Mouse's shit show clown realm. And then this is the cycle of the magical ethereal barrier, and then there's barriers everywhere. I mean, there's barriers on Earth, barriers in Saturn, of the rings, then there's a barrier of the actual solar system, and even beyond that, it's the whole spiral Milky Way galaxy. It's a spiral of the Milky Way galaxy basically encapsulates in and suckers in other souls through the song of the siren, because of the material experience. And then this is basically the Kamamara, you know him as the devil, and then his judgment process is basically judgment and death. I mean, I will gladly go complain to Mickey Mouse and say this place sucks, and then through that of the light emanation of my rainbow light body, because I just try to chill out, I will escape and just be one of these Buddhas that sit outside the realm. I mean, when you die, you see like these basically lights. I mean, if you're in the secret society, you're trained to recognize these lights. They're like dull colored lights, whether it's red, white, yellow, whatever. You're really looking for this goddamn super sapphire or gold brilliant crystal rainbow light, or the dark light of the rainbow light. That's the way out of here, really. Which is why Masonry, their color veneration is that of, it's really white, clear crystal, the blue sapphire, and the golden hue. That's why they pick their colors that way, because they understand this escapement process as they do at their 32 degrees on Earth, and then they do their 360 degrees as they cycle upon all the realms. And then when they reach 360 degrees of perfected light being and reaching the Ein Sof of Kabbalism, whatever, then they can escape. But as someone who's an Easterner, I do recognize that you want to take the quick way out. I mean, just watch my video Liberation from Moksha and what happens when you die, and then I'll probably do a reaction to this Death Theosophical Classic instead of Defending Your Life, just because I find it more important. But I want to finish responding to my Yoda Master. So.
Well, there's some mind-blowing stuff in it.
Yeah.
The Great Barrier, even to the end of this space cycle, found Iveb, the Great Barrier holding man from leaving this cycle.
Yeah, dude, it's the arms of the Milky Way galaxy. That's the Greater Barrier. There's the local barrier, the Van Allen radiation belt, and the emanations of the M-band wave, where you dream, astral travel, demons sit out, and spirits want to get in line to incarnate here. It's actually in the movie Soul, like where the souls jump down upon the Earth plane. It's depicted a lot in popular stuff, by the way.
What is that?
Huh?
What Great Barrier holding man from leaving the cycle? I mean, it reminds me of stuff like the...
Yeah, it's the barrier of the encapsulation holding of Kamamara, which is the great it's basically the great demiurge that sits at the center of the realm. I mean, this is really where he sits at. It's the belly of the beast. I mean, he devours his energy source from the people who make it to the gods realm and the heavens realm. I mean, it's the forms realm, formless realms. You basically should just realize that this whole place is not what it seems, and then, you know, go into your formless rainbow body state and become a Buddha or saint. That would be my suggestion. Unless you want to come back down here, or to the Titan realm of, you know, competition power like Cyberpunk, or you want to go to quote-unquote heaven. I mean, this is where heaven is, just so you know. It's not like a true Buddhaverse, because a true Buddhaverse would be out of here, but there's multiple Buddha... Actually, there's only one Buddhaverse here, and then like 3 or 6 Buddhaverses here. So, but reality, you should just leave. I mean, that's my suggestion, leave. So, I mean, you can leave this energetic circular barrier of the Milky Way galaxy if you know how. I mean, it's what I always talk about, my 6 things. 1, fear, death, and overcoming it. 2, cosmic commandment. 3, will to power. To purify the spirit, actualize the spirit, and liberate the spirit, because, I mean, I would personally go through Mickey Mouse to file my complaints and bitch at him, and then bounce, and then and then whatever, dude. Okay, and then okay, yes. I mean, I've said like this like 1,000 times, but...
You know, like the Van Allen radiation belts.
Yeah, that's the local barrier.
And again, you know, I've talked about this in terms of manned missions to the moon and whatnot. There are stuff in ancient texts that talk about this etherical energy barrier.
Yeah, from the Sumerians, yeah.
Being placed around the Earth.
Yeah, but after the gods
thousands
got caught
of years ago that wouldn't allow mankind to escape Earth.
Yeah, we're in like some sort of a terrarium, whatever, placed here by the gods. We're basically some sort of loosh farm based on the causation of suffering and chaos and scarcity to basically shake us for our soul energy, which is loosh.
That's where L. Ron Hubbard came up with the term prison planet from that.
And you all know this term from Alex Jones, because everyone here is a truther or whatever.
And he got all of
And Alex Jones is actually secretly a Scientologist.
his stuff that he based Scientology on from
And Alex Jones is secretly demonically possessed by dead alien Thetan beings, like this impartation of like these black entities from the Dark Priest of Amrulu, which is the causation of the suffering. Basically like the whole story of the game of Omnicron and Astaroth and the demon implantation system. I mean, humans are open to demonic possession through the crown of your head, or the unrealization of the spiritual nature of what you are. It's very prevalent when people get inebriated or do drugs or whatever, and they become more open or susceptible to basically beings which they think is actually just a part of them through their subconsciousness, but they have their own intelligence, and they're outside the natural time continuum of the physical world. I mean, it's a whole process to demonic possession, but I mean, I won't really talk about that.
old ancient texts and Sumerian stuff, all kinds of ancient stuff. He didn't just come up with all that stuff on his own.
Yep.
But that's what, and we talked about John Dee. We mentioned John Dee before.
Silicone, yes.
And that was one of the things that John Dee, we're talking 17th century England, ladies and gentlemen, John Dee going to the Queen in these channeling sessions, and the Queen wanting to know what they needed to do, wanted to find out from these entities that John Dee was channeling, using this Enochian magic system to do it.
He just called it Enochian magic. It's the magical systems that he data mined out of the Knights Templar, which is data mined out of Solomon's Temple and whole. Agent Smith, peace.